11 in your notes, and at question 11 they tell you you have that circuit. Okay, jy gaan teken hom oor. You always redraw the circuit for yourself. Okay, then you're going to consider it. Jy gaan nou kyk. Jy sien daar gaan jou mannetjies do, and you see that the current doesn't split up anywhere. Die stroom split nie ergens op nie. So the current is the same everywhere, and that ammeter measures the total current. The ammeter meet die totale stroom. Then you see you have 12 sandwiches. Your 12 sandwiches is going to split up into 2. Hy gaan in 2 opdeel. Okay, right. Then they say, now normally, if you look at the question, ek wil hê jy moet kyk na die vraag, because this I just copied from a past paper. Normally, they give you the circuit, I give you the stroom on. Everything at the top of the circuit is in the circuit. Everything at the bottom is not in the circuit. Okay, so daaronder sê ek jou, die 12 volt battery het weglaatbare interne weerstand, neglectable internal resistance. Now, why do they say that? They say that because in grade 12 we do internal resistance. Okay, and that is also why I wanted you to bring your other booklet with you. Okay, jy hoef nou nie op te maak nie, want jy het nou soos 10 minute pauze gevat. But I just want to show you other past papers in that booklet van jou will look like this more or less. The circuits will look like this, where they have a little dotted line around it, and there's a weerstand daar binne en wat ook al. This is grade 12 circuits. You can't do this yet. So this booklet with the questions in it will not help you for circuits. Gaan jy nie help vir stroombane nie. For this, for circuits moet jy na graad 11 ou vraestelle toe gaan. Okay, was I send you the link? Right? So if you see a circuit that looks like this, or they say there's internal resistance, then you can't do it yet. Then that's not what you write on. Okay, goed. Right, so hierdie een sê hulle vir jou het nie interne weerstand nie. And then they say when switch S is closed, the reading on the ammeter is, en dan gee hulle daai vir jou as 0,5 ampere. So that information is not on your diagram. It's nie in jou prentjie nie. Okay. Nou vra hulle vir jou by vraag 11.1.1. State Ohm's law in words. Okay, ek het jou gesê this is the definition that I ask a lot. So that is where you say, I think the potential difference over a conductor is directly proportional to the current in the conductor, provided that the temperature remains constant. Gaan leer hom maar. Hulle love dit om hom te vra. Okay, then 11.1.2 they say, calculate the resistance of resistor X for 5 punte. 5 marks. So they want to know what is that. Okay, let's just check what do we have. Info table. I have the total current. Die totale stroom is 0,5. I have the total volts, is 12. Okay. This is a series circuit. So if I want to get the total resistance, how will I do that? Jy gaan dit by mekaar tel. Jy gaan sê X plus 8. Nee? So that will be X plus 8. Alright, so jy kan sien hierdie 5 punte is eintlik maklik. It's actually quite easy. If I put that in brackets and I make that my unknown, ek maak daai my onbekende. And I go to Ohm's law. That is why they ask. State Ohm's law in words, because you have to use it now. So that is R is V over I. We have the resistance we want to calculate. Die weerstand wil ek gaan uitwerk. Die volts is 12 en die stroom is 0,5. Then I get for the resistance 24. Okay, so the total resistance is 24. 8 plus x. Total resistance is 24. En ek soek vir x. So x is thus 16 ohms. Nie moeilik nie. Ek kan nie onthou nie. Dit is te lang terug. Right, any question there, ma'am? Can you just say you went too fast? Waar het jy hierdie gekry? Waar het jy daai gekry? Okay, kom ons kyk gaan na die volgende stroombaan. Let's look at the next circuit on that page. Okay, so 11.2. Hy is 'n lekker inception ene. Alright, so while I redraw it, I get a bit nervous, but not too nervous. Brigitte, lyk dit asof ek genoeg betaal word om daai te antwoord? Ja. Nee. Alright. Goed, hier gaan jou mannetjies. You see they split up. They split up there and there. Then, those that go through there does not split up. Nee? Van daar af gaan hulle reguit huis toe. Chop. Those that choose to go through here, hulle split weer op, daar en daar. Then they get together here again. Okay, so that ammeter doesn't measure the total current. No. Hy meet nie die totale stroom nie. Hy meet net die stroom wat hier opgesplit word. Okay, now I want to look at my 12 sandwiches. Okay. Tsepang, you choose to walk through here. You walk here. How many sandwiches do you have there? 12. After you've gone through this, when you get there, how many sandwiches do you have? Why? You ate all of them because you're going to go directly home. So ek weet hier die hele tak het 12 toebroodjies. That whole branch got 12 sandwiches. But what I do see, wat ek sien, is in this branch, I have to divide my sandwiches. Because let's say you choose to go through here, then you have science and English. Okay, so you have to divide up your sandwiches into a bit for science and a bit for English. Okay, Johan, hierso loop jy. Jy kies om hierdie kant toe te gaan. En toe jy hier kom, toe kies jy nog verder om hier na toe te gaan. Hoeveel toebroodjies het jy daar? Het jy al enige toebroodjies gebruik? Hoeveel toebroodjies het jy daar? Hoekom? Huis toe. So hierdie tak het 12 toebroodjies. So even though it looks strange when I considered, here my little men walk, gaat hulle tip, het hy al 'n broodjie geëet, het hy nog nie, dis nie so moeilik nie. Cindy, hierso loop jy, hier, hoeveel toebroodjies het jy? En hier? Sê weer? Hoekom? So it's actually as if you have 3 resistors in parallel, or 3 branches in parallel. Okay. Sharp? Just the last note that I can make there is I can actually add these together. Nee, for this whole branch, that gives you 20 ohms. I don't know if I will use it, but it's just a thought in my head. Ja. Yeah. Alright, now they ask you, switch S is closed, write down the potential difference, potential verskil, the volts, across the 4 ohm resistor. En mag jy dit nou net gaan uitfigure? Wat was dit? 12 volts. 11.2.2. Calculate 5 punte. 5 marks tells you 2 or more equations. Calculate the reading on the ammeter. Okay. Kom ons check gou die ammeter, daar sy. We did not write next to it total current, want dit is nie die total current nie. Wat meet hy? That measures the current in these two together. Nee? Good. So it measures the current that's split up there and there. So these two together. So I'm going to consider them together. So I'm going to tell the person marking, and for myself, I'm going to consider beskou the 16 and 4 ohm branch. Okay. So for that I need volts, current, resistance. Okay, hulle soek die stroom, they want the current. Taskia, wat is die volts vir daai twee? Dis 12. Remember, it's not 24 plus 24. It's not 6. This one has 12, this one is 12. They're in parallel. Together they have 12. Volts, 12. Okay, now I need the resistance. They're in parallel with one another. So gaan eers 'n parallelle storieetjie moet gaan uitwerk. Drie en 3.2. How do you know you're more or less on the correct path?
Less than the smallest resistance.
In parallel though.
Is nog steeds kleiner as die res.
Okay, so we have this is 3.2. Alright, so now we write resistance is volts over current. The resistance is 3.2. The volts is 12. We want the current. Right. Are you all with me? Any question? Enige vraag? Juffrou, waar het jy hierdie gekry? Hoekom? Wat? This is the part where you get confused in circuits. Hierdie is die deel waar jy die mekaar kan stroomane is. Daar's so baie inligting. You put the wrong things in the wrong places. Okay? So you must know, while we do this, you must know, why do I have these values? Waar kry ek hierdie waardes vandaan? Kyk op jou prentjie, maak seker jy verstaan dit. You understand where I got what from. Okay, so ek gaan terug na my prentjie toe. So this here is 3.75. That is not the total current. Daar is net die stroom daardeur daai takkie. Okay. Then the next question they ask En ek gaan nou net, my plek is min. I'm going to write next to my drawing. Ek wil net by my prentjie bly. Okay. They ask at question 11.2.3, calculate the energy dissipated, gelewer, in die 12 ohm weerstand in 2 minute, 5 punte. Okay. They speak about the resistance is the 12 ohm resistance. They speak about time 2 minutes. Werk ons in minute? No, we work in seconds, so we must times 60 is 120 seconds. Then they ask for the energy. Menai die energie. Wat moet ons gaan uitwerk? Watter simbool pas by energie? Energie word gemeet in joules, maar watter simbool pas daarbij? Sê weer? Nee. Blaai terug in jou notas. Wie. Alright. W. So that is a difficult part here. It's just to get what the hell must I go calculate. Okay? Nou gaan jy na jou formulas toe. You go to those formulas. There are 4 formulas with W in it. I'm quickly going to look at 3 of them. Okay, right. So those are the formulas that I think I might have to use. Okay, so the ask W, I have R, and I have time. So my thought is I'm going to use either, so this is 1, 2, and 3. I'm either going to use 2 or I'm going to use 3.
Maar jy kan die gaan uitwerk.
Ja. So jy gaan of jy moet gaan uitwerk of jy moet gaan uitwerk. Okay, kom ons check gou vinnig. Let's check. Where is the 12 ohm resistor? Daar sê. What do I have of the 12 ohm resistor? Do I have the current? Nee, die stroom wat ek het is daai stroom. It's not the current through that one. So I do not have the current. Do I have the volts? Nee. I know the 12 volts goes through that branch, but the 12 volts does not entirely goes to the 12. The 12 volts split op so en so. So either way, I must do one more calculation. Ek moet of sy stroom gaan uitwerk, of ek moet sy volts gaan uitwerk. Jy kan die stroom gaan uitwerk, ek gaan die volts gaan uitwerk. Kom ons kyk, doen dit. Okay. So I'm going to choose volts. Why? It's easier. Okay, hoekom sê ek is makliker? Want I know this is 12. I know the ratio is 12 to 8. So I'm just going to use the ratio to help me. Okay, so ek gaan sê goed. 12 teenoor 8 geef my 20. And I know that volts is directly proportional to resistance. Meaning, the bigger the resistance, the bigger the volts. Okay, so gaan ek 12 oor 20 kies of 8 oor 20? 12 oor 20. I'm going to choose 12 over 20 because I want the bigger one that goes with 12. Of what? Of the 12 volts. Want die 12 volts gaan ons al. So daar's nou 2 keer 12 in. En dit geef jou 7.2 volts. Right, then I'm going to go to my third formula, my derde formula, because now I have the volts, I have the time, I have the resistance. So W Ooh. En jy kry 518,4 en die eenheid energy joules. Jy dieselfde antwoord gekry, Brigitte?
Yes.
Mooi. Alright, can you see what I mean with it's not a difficult question? Okay, so dis nie soos 'n moeilike ontleding nie. The difficult part here was to just know what's the waltz that goes there. Wat's die waltz wat soontoe gaan? Okay. Kom pak jy weg met nou, ons moet nog eens omdoen. Ja, op die volgende bladsy. Ja. Alright. We're going to do question 10 and then we're done. Vraag 10 en dan is ons klaar. Okay, so what you can see when I redraw this circuit, I changed it a bit. I didn't change the circuit, I just changed the way I write it so that it makes sense to me. So dat het my makliker sin maak, want daai ding daar in daai hoekie maak dit sommer moeilik. Okay, so you can see ek het net die voltmeter uitgehaal and I just drew it in a different color so it makes more sense to me. Okay. Dan alles daarbo is klaar in die stroomman. They say you have two resistors in parallel, jy het 'n onbekende weerstand. Hulle sê jou battery het geen interne weerstand nie, like it should be in grade 11. And then under the circuit, onder die prentjie, is daar nog inligting. So don't skip that part. Don't be lazy. Ek ontmoet haar môre. Hoopelik. Ek kan nie onthou nie.
Jy vrou as jy op Instagram gaan stalk en kyk of sy moet werk om te hier.
So jy kan na 'n prentjie te kyk sien of sy die moeite werd is.
Dis 20 meer.
Ja, jy moet nie op my sosiale media gaan nie. Ja, nee, ek sal jou nie accept nie. Maar ek accept nie skoolkinders nie. Anyway. Goed. Highlighter, hier gaan ek. Ek sien my totale stroom gaan daardeur. The total current passes through there. Then I see that my current splits up there and there. Dan sien ek my totale stroom gaan weer daardeur. My total current passes through there again. Van die positief na die negatief. Then my sandwiches needs to split up into two. Daar gaan 'n bietjie toebroodjies en daar gaan 'n bietjie toebroodjies. Sê weer? Ag man, potato. Okay, and since they're on parallel, their volts will be the same. Dan, onder die prentjie, lees saam met my. The total power dissipated in the parallel part is 50 watts. So hulle sê vir jou, daar, hierdie twee saam, geef my 50 watts. What do I measure in watts again? I measure the power in watts. Okay, dan vra hulle vir jou, so die definisie ook wat hulle baie vra, is define the term power. From the formula, you know power is the rate at which work is done, or the rate at which energy is delivered of sweet seed. Okay, 10.1.2. Calculate the effective resistance of the parallel combination. Die effektiewe weerstand, effective is in the same words the total. So they just want the total resistance of the parallel. combination. Die parallelle kombinasie. Wat? Dit gaan klein wees. Dit is al 30. So dit gaan wees 5 plus 2 is 7 oor 30.
Ja. Dis 0.23.
Net sê dis ja. Right. How do you know you're more or less on the correct path? 4.2 is smaller than 6. Okay, next one, question 10.1.3. Calculate the potential difference across the resistors in parallel. Okay, so let's look the volts van die parallel. Let's see what information do I have. So I want the volts of the parallel. I have the resistance of the parallel. I just calculated. En onthou, hulle gaan van hier tot hier met jou fout werk. With your mistake. From one question to the next. Then they also gave me more information regarding the parallel. They gave me the power. So I have the power is 50. Okay, and that gets my brain going. Ooh, I get power formulas. If you go to your power formulas, you have 4. Okay, those are formulas. What do I have? I have resistance, I have power, and I need volts. Volts soek ek, weerstand het ek, power het ek. So I'm going to use that last formula. Power is volts squared over R. Weet ek geweer, dit gaan so maklik wees, want dit tel 3 punte. 3 marks. 3 marks formula, substitute, answer. So the power is 50. I want the volts. The resistance is 4.2. Remember to square root your answer. En ek kry 14,49. Wat? 50 maal met 4.2. Square root van dit. Okay. Goed. Dan vra hulle vir jou. Okay, so again, I'm just going to move up to stay at my diagram. Asseblief in die toets of eksamen, right underneath each other, onder mekaar, nee, nie langs mekaar nie, especially with circuits. Goed, 10.1.4. What is the current through resistor R? Okay, the current through resistor R. As ons daar sien, het ons gesien is die totale stroom. Okay? Now I check for total current in my head. I need total resistance, total volts. I do not have the total resistance or the total volts. So dit gaan my glad nie help nie. Okay? Where else do I have the total current? There I have the total current. Or I know the total current splits up here and here. So as ek hierdie saam beskou, ek consider this together, then I have the total current. Nee? So ek gaan hierso sê beskou 6 and 15 together. Consider. Ja, maar my kop, hulle twee saam. Okay, and there's a reason why they ask the questions there at the top. Want jy het hulle weerstand saam. You have their resistance together. You just calculated it to be 4.2. You have their power together. It's 50. You have their potential difference. It's 14.49. So jy het al klaar klomp goed van dit gaan uitwerk. They want the current. Okay, so there is a lot of formulas wat jy kan gebruik. I'll just go with the normal Ohm's law. Want R is V oor I. R is 4.2. Volts is 14.49. And we want the current. En ek kry 3,45 ampere. Okay, then some theory questions. En ek raai, I'm guessing, there will be at least one, maybe two of these theory questions in your question paper. Okay, they say, the switch in the circuit is now opened. Okay, goed, so kom ons kyk. The switch, there's a switch, is opened. Die eerste ding, daar's twee goed wat jy altyd vir jouself gaan vra. When they speak about something is opened, or something is added, or something is what, there's two things that you ask yourself. You ask yourself, what happens to the total resistance? And then you ask yourself, what happens to the total current? Altyd, altyd, altyd. Okay. Goed, let's just check. So I'm not even reading the question yet. Ek gaan net gou daai twee check. Toe daai switch oopgemaak is, then this whole branch falls away. Right? So now there's nie meer 'n parallelle stroom nie. We don't have a parallel circuit anymore. Now we have a series circuit. Let's say, they didn't say it, but let's say this resistance is 2. Dan gaan die totale weerstand nou verander na 8. The total resistance will now change to 8. What would the total resistance have been? It would have been 4.2 plus 2. It would have been 6.2. So the total resistance would have changed from 6.2 until 8. So as die totale weerstand meer geword het, what would have happened with the current? Current will decrease. Okay, so I'm just going to say this again. When this switch was opened, this whole branch falls away. Then we have a series circuit. Okay, so voor die tyd toe hierdie nog hier was, when this was still here, these two together was 4.2, plus this one is 2, was 6.2. This was the total resistance, as the twee was. Now that this falls away, the total resistance changes to 8. Dit word nou 8. So die totale weerstand het meer geword, so then the total current decreased. Okay, that wasn't the question. That's just for myself for now. Nou sien ek hulle vra. Switch is open. How will the reading on the voltmeter be influenced? Where's the voltmeter? There's the voltmeter. How will that reading be influenced? Right, increase, decrease, or remains the same. And then the next one, explain your answer. Now, don't take a guess and then force your explanation to fit with your guess. Okay? Start with your explanation. Begin met jou verduideliking. Okay? So I'm not going to answer question 10.1.5 just yet. We'll leave that open. I'm first going to go to 10.1.6. Okay, wat het gebeur met die voltmeter? What happened with the voltmeter? If I look at my formula, that happened. Not that happened. That's the formula. Okay, I'm going to use this to help me. Goed. So ek wil weet wat het gebeur met die voltmeter. The voltmeter is dependent on two things. Alright. Kom ons check gou hierso. Daar's hy. That current that passes through there is the total current. Did the total current change?
No.
We just said it decreased. So the current did change. That resistance there, is it the total resistance? Nee. That voltmeter is over this resistance. Did that resistance change? Nee. So we have two things here. We had one thing that remains constant, one thing that changed. Dit gaan altyd so wees. Jy gaan altyd een hê wat konstant bly, een hê wat verander. Okay. So, I wrote down a lot of things and I said a lot of things. We're going to use this in this to answer the question. Okay. Please write down the formula. Get a mark for writing down the formula. Then you're going to say, nou gaan jy sê, goed. The resistance remained constant. Then you're going to say, okay, so check now is verander. Let's look at the current. We said the current decreased. Hoekom het hy nou weer gedecrease?
Omdat die totale
Nee. So the total resistance increased. Thus, the total current decreased. Die totale weerstand het toegeneem en daarom het die totale stroom afgeneem. That's what we said here at the top. Okay? Now you're also going to mention that volts is directly proportional to current. Hoe weet ek dit hierso? Dis albei bo die lyntjie. Volts is directly proportional to current. So if the current decreased, what happened to the volts? Decreased. Thus, voltmeter decreased. En dan dit is wat jy daarbo gaan skryf. So jy gaan sê decrease. Alright. So ek wil julle net sê, wanneer skryf julle die donderdag?